Hello everyone, welcome back to my video. I have initiated a revision classes of UGC NET Commerce Paper 2 Session 2020 December cycle. As I have started with the Unit 5 of Stats and Research Method. Okay, so this is the second lecture of the Stats Unit 5. That is first lecture I have finished, that was Measures of Central Tendency, and here in this video we will study about the measures of dispersion. Okay, so let's proceed with the dispersion chapter without wasting time. Fine. So dispersion, what do you mean by dispersion? Dispersion helps us to study the variability from the central value. Okay, what does this variability mean? Variability means the difference from the central value. Okay, so let's understand with the help of example. See, if I take a series like 4, 5, 7. Okay, I have taken a small series just for the sake of for your understanding and all. So what we will calculate here? We'll calculate average mean. Okay, the average mean is the best of central value to calculate. Okay, so average mean will be 4 plus 5 plus 7 divided by 3. Okay, so what will be? It will be 16 by 3. Okay, so 5 point something. So what dispersion says is how much variation is from the central value. Okay, how much variation, what is the difference? Fine. So dispersion tells us the difference from the central value. Okay, and if we say this 5, how much deviation is from this individual item, then it will be called as deviation. Understand the difference. If we compare with the individual item with the central value, then it will call deviation. But if we calculate the scatteredness, or we can say the spreadness, or we can say the variation from the central value, it is called dispersion. Fine? Okay. Now let's move to the next subtopic, that is measures of dispersion. What is measures of dispersion? The measures of dispersion is divided into two categories. One is absolute measure and the other is relative measure. Fine. So we will understand what is absolute measure. In short, we'll remember absolute measure is same unit. Means, see, this is factory A. Okay, this is factory A, produces 4 items and all are measured in liter. Okay, all are measured in liter. So here what we say is all 4 products are measured in liter. So here all the 4 products having the same unit. So it is the absolute measure. So why we calculate this range, quartile deviation, mean deviation, standard deviation and variance? Because to compare with the individual items, how much deviation is there. Fine. So this was all about the absolute measure. Now we'll come towards the relative measure. So what is relative measure? See, relative measure in simple terms will say unit free. Okay, unit free means it is unit free. No unit is required. How much gallon it is, no gallon, no liter, no centimeter, no meter are used prefix to the number. Okay, it is only written as a numerical value. Right? So that's why it is known as coefficient of range, coefficient of quartile deviation. We will learn all this about in the further class. Okay, so here in this video we will understand the two things, that is range and the quartile deviation. Fine? Okay. Is there any query? Okay, fine. So if no query, please give a thumbs up. Okay. Thank you everyone. So let's move towards the range. What is range? Range means, by the word only everyone can make a sense that when you go to a shop, the shopkeeper asks what's your range about your buying a clothes or buying material. So they fix the range. Okay, you something say minimum 10 and maximum 12,000. Okay, so range, here also the range speaks the same. Okay, range means lower minus, this is largest value minus smallest value. Fine. So range here speaks the same, that is largest, the difference between the largest and the smallest value. Fine. This is range. Now what is the coefficient of range? The coefficient of range is the largest value minus smallest value divided by largest value plus smallest value into 100. As I have told you, it is unit free, so no units will be returned prefix to this. Okay. Now what is the use of range in our real life? See, we can calculate the rainfall. So what is the minimum rainfall? What is the maximum rainfall in a particular area? So range is very easy to calculate. Okay, this is the merit for this. But the range consists of various disadvantages. Okay, what is the disadvantages? See, it does not use all the observation of data set. Means it does not use all the data. As I have told you, it use only lower and the higher. Okay, the largest value and the smallest value. The middle value is not used. Okay, so this is the very big disadvantage of the range. Non-reliable. Non-reliable means, see, the largest and the smallest value are taken into consideration. So how it can be reliable? What about the middle value? So it is non-reliable. Fine. The third point, range is directly proportional to the sample size. This is very important. Okay, means if range increases as the sample size increases, fine. So what I am saying, the dispersion of range will increase if the sample size will increase. Okay, does not tell the variability of data. See, as we take only the largest and the smallest value, so how we can compare with the other items present over the series, because only the highest and the lowest value is taken. So we cannot make any difference. We cannot make an analysis of the variations of the data. Okay, so this is the big disadvantage of the range. For open-ended intervals, range is indeterminate. Open-ended means the lower value, see, in the sum of the series, we can see in continuous series, it is given like less than 10, and the last one is given more than 50. Okay, so here what we see is lower limit is missing, and here what we see is largest limit is missing. So due to this, it is not suitable for the open-ended intervals. Fine. Hope the range is very clear to you. Okay, so just give a thumbs up here. Fine. Now we'll move to the next topic, that is quartile deviation. I have written in short, so this is quartile deviation. Okay, what is a quartile? See, quartile itself explains, it is divided into 4 parts, that is 25, 50, 75, 100. Okay, quartile deviation, the formula is Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. Okay, this is the formula of quartile deviation. So what is Q1? So this is the 25% of the whole data. We can say 1 by 4, and the Q3 we can say 3 by 4. Okay, we individually calculate the Q1 and Q3 and just we will put the value in the formula. Fine. So this is the formula of quartile deviation. Now we will see the coefficient of quartile deviation. See, coefficient of quartile deviation will be Q3 minus Q1 divided by Q3 plus Q1. Oh, sorry, no 100. Okay, so this is the coefficient of the quartile deviation. Right? We will individually calculate all the values of Q1 and Q3 and then we will just put on the formula. Okay. Now we'll see the objectives of the quartile deviation. See, it is far better than the range but not so much suitable. Why? Because it considers only the 25% of the lower limit and the 75% of the upper limit, and all the other values are just ignored. So why, if we ignore the data, how it can be reliable, how it can be so much suitable? No, it can't be suitable. Okay, so it is far better than the range but it is not so better to calculate, or you can say it is not suitable for the calculation of dispersion. Okay, so we'll understand what is objective. Objective is to examine the spread about the measure of the central tendency. Okay, fine, this sentence is correct but not always suitable. Fine. The merits. Why merits are written here? Because it is far better than the range. That's why a little merit has been given to this quartile deviation. It takes middle 50% terms, hence it is a measure better than range and percentile, as I have explained you. Okay, so no query. So I have told you the formula of quartile deviation. Okay, now what it tells? It tells that it allows us to compare the dispersion of two or more data sets. Okay, two or more data sets. It helps to compare. Okay, if we say, see, this is data 1, this is data 2. Fine. So if we say data 1 quartile deviation is greater if QD of data 1 is greater than QD of data 2, then the dispersion will be higher, or we can say more dispersion will be seen. Okay, so coefficient of quartile deviation says that it helps to compare between two or more data sets. If higher the quartile deviation, the higher the dispersion between them, or higher the variation between the two sets. Okay, fine. So this was all about the quartile deviation and the range. So let's get sum up of all these once again. What was the formula of range? Largest minus lowest, and its coefficient largest minus smallest divided by largest plus smallest. Quartile deviation Q3 minus Q1 and its coefficient Q3 minus Q1 divided by Q3 plus Q1. For the exam purpose, this formula is very important because it has come 2 to 3 times in your exam. So the formula is very important, and simple questions can also be come. So be ready for this small questions and all. So this was all about the range and the quartile deviation. In the next part 2 video, we will see the further, that is standard deviation, mean deviation, and the variance. Okay, so before going from this video, I want to say a very important thing, that is, it is very important for the exam purpose. Okay, 6QD is equal to 5MD is equal to 4SD. Okay, just mark my language. This is very, very, very important for your exam purpose. Okay, this is the empirical relationship between the quartile deviation, mean deviation, and standard deviation. Okay, I have told you earlier, because in the coming sessions, some of the examples will be related to this formula. Okay, so this is a hint for you. Remember this formula. Okay, so what is the formula? 6QD is equal to 5MD is equal to 4SD. Okay, fine. So I hope you have liked this video, and it will prove benefit to you. So thank you for watching this video, and have a nice day and all the very best for your exam.